This is called AMD and Sofi investors. We have a major development.
AMD. Holy smokers, this ain't no jokers. AMD just got downgraded by Wall Street. AMD in spotlight as Jeffries downgrades possible widening gap with NVIDIA. Whew, I mean, gosh, you hear that right off the surface and you're like, gosh, this sounds horrible. Then you look into the details, and if you're a little educated on the space, you're like, what are they comparing here? Huh? AMD was in the spotlight on Thursday as investment firm Jeffries downgraded the semiconductor company, suggesting the gap between it and NVIDIA is widening. Okay. Our proprietary benchmarking report suggests real-world throughput of NVIDIA's H200 across a range of open source models is substantially higher than AMD's MI300X. What? Despite MI300X's higher advertised T-flop and memory bandwidth. First off, what are we talking about here? MI300? Like, if you're an AMD shareholder, you care about the next product that's coming that we'll discuss in just a moment. Like, to be caught up in the whatever the 300 is versus H200, that's an irrelevant conversation. That's a relevant conversation if we were talking a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or something like that. That's an irrelevant conversation to where AMD is going over this next couple of years here. Like, what are we talking about here? Referencing NVIDIA's Hopper line of GPUs, which were released in 2023, a valid pushback would be that AMD's solution is not well optimized for the models we tested, but we view this as exactly the point. These results underscore the importance of NVIDIA's mature software stack for managing GPU efficiencies, and the gap will widen as system performance will become more important. Curtis, who lowered his rating on AMD to hold from buy. So he had a buy on the stock. Now he went to hold based upon this outdated information here, apparently. Okay. Now he has a price target of 120, which his old price target was 135. Added that the gap is expected to widen between NVIDIA's Blackwell line of GPUs in full-scale production.
I would bet that this is the first of many downgrades to come. In fact, we can actually look at the analyst ratings here in Outlier. I don't know if this one just came through. Let's take a look. If you go over here, you click analyst ratings. Yeah, there it is. All right, so this came through yesterday from buy to hold, price target from 135 to 120. Well, this one came out from 170 to 130. Again, another one just last month from buy to hold at 120. I think this is going to be a ripple effect. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see more and more analysts start revising down their targets, because if their targets are up at like 170, 185, 200, and the stock is half that price, 2/3 that price, that's not good for them, right? And so here's the thing. A lot of people put a lot of stock, not really pun intended, but a lot of people put a lot of stock in what analyst ratings have to say, and I don't know why. They do have probably the smartest people that you could ever imagine working on coming up with these ratings. They run all their cash flow models. They are pushing, you know what I'm doing, by the way. They are pushing all these numbers into all these different spreadsheets, and they're coming up with these valuations. But there's one key thing here. If the price is moving down, it doesn't matter if your price target's 180. It doesn't matter if your price target's 200. Because at the end of the day, you, me, Jeremy, who came out with this price rating? I forget. This one here. Jeffries. At the end of the day, if the price is not going up, they're not making money. At least if they're going long. And that's because only price pays. So you can have all these incredible, fantastical reasons why the stock should go up. It should go up. All these GPUs are great. I love the business. I love the CEO. I love everything they're doing. But the market doesn't. And this is such an important thing, right? Such an important concept to grasp. All stocks are bad, but every once in a while they act right. And this stock is not acting right now. Not at all. So to see one analyst start revising down their target, at least this month, we had 2 last month, I think this is going to be a contagion effect. And then that's going to scare even more people out of AMD stock. So yeah, I'm not surprised it was lowered, and I won't be surprised to see even more lowerings.
And that should continue with the release of Rubin, which is set to release in the back half of next year, he added. Lastly, Curtis said that AMD has made limited traction in artificial intelligence, and there's expectations of a resurgent Intel. What? Okay, listen. If you want to talk about a resurgent Intel, you could talk about a resurgent Intel maybe in 5 or 10 years ago if that happens. But to even bring Intel into this conversation at all over the next few years is absolutely nothing but silly. Like, that's ridiculous, okay? But
let's compare AMD and Intel. So come over here, do a side-by-side chart. We'll put AMD on the left-hand side. Looks like I already had it there. And let's put Intel, INTC, on the right-hand side. All right, let's zoom out just a smidge, make sure they're at the right time frames each. Okay, so this is approximately the same time frames here. Neither one of them are great, but Intel is significantly greater than AMD. I mean, AMD is just pure downtrend, just pure stage 4 downtrend. Intel, however, looks like it already had its stage 4 downtrend and might be hitting stage 1 consolidation. Now, what in the wide world of sports does that even mean? Come over here. This is called the market cycle. Right? The market cycle looks like this. Stage 1 is when prices are consolidating. Stage 2, this is what everybody wants. This is the exciting part of trading. When prices are going up, this is the hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria. And then stage 3 is the top where the moving averages start crossing back over. This is where people are taking their profits. And stage 4 is where a lot of stocks are right now. A lot of stocks, including AMD. They're in the anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, anger stage. And the frustrating part about this is that so many investors look at this stage as a buying opportunity. So many people on YouTube are pushing stocks that are falling knives. And they're saying, this is such a great opportunity to get in without the knowledge of what the market cycle looks like. Every stock can go through this. Your job as a trader, as an investor, as somebody who's putting risk on in the market, is to figure out when it's going up and not buy it when it's going down. And you know how to do that. You know how to do that. That is with the Outlier Trend Template. The 10 over the 20, price over the 50 will tell you it's a bullish trend. Now, AMD has not had that except for a day, a single day, and trends bend, right? A single day, it came right back down. Intel has actually had a couple moves up. Let's see, we got one right here. One green light came through right there. Your 10 over 20, price closing over the 10, green light right there. And then price closing under the 10, right? You could have made a couple bucks right there. Could have lost a buck, could have won a buck here and there, right? And then another time, another one over here, whereas AMD the whole time has been pushing down. Now, can we see the difference? Type the letters MC in the chat. This is from November 23 to now. November 23 to now. Do we see the difference in where these 2 points are? In fact, don't type MC in the chat. Type where you feel like it is in the market cycle for AMD. Say, so like AMD 1, and then do Intel, INTC 4, whatever you're going to say, right? Where do you think these two are on their market cycles? Because it's plainly obvious to me. Plainly obvious to me. So for me, I see AMD still in this stage 4 downtrend. I think we're hitting around capitulation anger at this point. I mean, look at this chart here. Maybe this is easier. This chart here is exactly AMD. This chart here, now this is roughly the same time frame on both sides. It looked like it had already had its stage 4 downtrend and is now moving sideways. We see the difference here, right? We see the difference. This is your stage 1 down at the bottom versus your stage 4 moving down to the bottom. Isn't that cool? Right, Knight's got it. Yeah, stage 1 and 4. Yannick gets it, stage 1 and 4. Stage 1 and 4 from Salty Brad. Now, to that regard, I would say Intel's a way better buy. Way better buy. And even if they have subpar chips, subpar products, that doesn't matter. Because as an investor, I'm not going to get paid on the chips, right? I'm not the guy who's selling chips. I'm the guy who's investing in companies. And these are two very different stages in their market cycle. I mean, Intel actually looks like it may be setting up for a stage 2. Wouldn't that be ironic to see Intel really take up for its stage 2 while AMD's finally getting down to its stage 1 and it's going to fart around here for a minute? That would be crazy. Han says, big panic over an AMD. I think you're right. I think you're right. Brandon asks, stage 1 is newer highs, where stage 4 is lower highs? Right, so stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So stage 4 is in red. So stage 4 is when it's moving down. But it can stair step. It can stair step up. Tesla is a great example of stair stepping. Let's look at that. Ignore this one. Ignore this one. But Tesla has stair stepped through these market cycles a lot. Like right here, moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down. Now, your job, like I say earlier, is to know when the stocks are acting right versus when they're not. Having the market cycle on hand, knowing what that is, really helps out a lot. Really helps out a lot.
To take things further, I need to kill off this point before we talk about MI350, MI400, because that's where we're about to go, okay? I need to illustrate this point very importantly, okay? There's this false belief that in order for AMD's stock price to do well over the next few years, in order for AMD to do well as a business model over the next few years, there's a false belief that AMD has to beat NVIDIA. And it could not be further from the truth. NVIDIA does.
Let me think about that for a moment. This belief that AMD has to beat NVIDIA. I mean, if this is a sports game, then yeah. But if you're an investor, you can buy both. I mean, unless you put everything into AMD and you don't have any money left. But as an investor, you're allowed to buy both. Because here's the crazy. This is something you may not have heard of this before. If the market is going up, that's going to help you. So you could buy both. If the sector is going up, that's going to help you. So you could buy both. And only the last 30% of the stocks move. I know you've never heard me say this before. Only the last 30% is due to the stock itself. And they could both be performing really well. I don't see the need to pit one against the other. Just look at it objectively. AMD versus not Intel. Yeah, Intel. I was about to say NVIDIA. AMD versus NVIDIA. I did it again. AMD versus Intel. There you go, Chris. Just buy both. In fact, we're going to teleport to the library again. This one here. Of my top 5 trading books, this one here, How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market, is a fabulous read. Seriously great. Now, this is about Nicholas Darvis, who is a dancer in the 50s. Like his job was dancing. He would travel the world in the 50s and trade. And this is crazy. What he would do is he would ask the broker, tell me which stocks are performing, which stocks are going up. That's all I care about. I do not care about anything except price. His broker would text him price, and he would keep his own charts, essentially. And then he would say, okay, these sectors seem to be doing really well. Let's just say, for example, the chip sector. The chip sector is going gangbusters. He would buy everything in the chip sector. And then when they weren't working out, he would start taking them off one by one. So he may have bought 5 stocks at that time. 2 of them are going down, so he gets out. 1 of them is dead money, so he's staying in because it hasn't hit his exit point. And 2 of them outperform. You can do that too. Nobody's saying you have to pick one versus the other. The market allows you to buy more than one stock. It's crazy. So I don't know. I really don't feel like pitting AMD versus anything really matters, because price is the only thing that matters. So let's scooch this up. I want to see the news on SoFi. I know there's some big SoFi news going on. I don't really care about AMD anymore. Here.
Well, what's going on with SoFi actually has very little to do with SoFi. So basically, yesterday, Vlad over at Robinhood showed off some new things that Robinhood wants to do, right? Including adding, as you see the headlines here, Robinhood keeps adding services. Banking and wealth management are the latest. Robinhood is moving into banking services with luxury perks such as same-day cash delivery. Robinhood unveils plans for new banking products, right? Boom, 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 boom. So they're moving into banking territory, right?
You know what? Let's compare. I know a lot of y'all been asking for the hood lately, so we'll do Robinhood on the left and SoFi on the right. Interesting. They look really similar, don't they? Man, these two look really similar. This is the same time frame here. That is super interesting. Oh, wait. That goes back to my point of you can buy multiple stocks in a sector and they can move together. This is a perfect example. These are almost analogous to each other. You could almost lay one on top of the other and be the same thing. That's super interesting.
Which this has people very worried about SoFi because SoFi operates in the banking space, right? Robinhood CEO sees Amazon-like subscription model as path to loyalty and financial services. And so Robinhood CEO Vlad is bundling more services into the company's $5 a month subscription service. Listen, and I believe they mentioned Costco as an inspiration here. I think it's a great move for Robinhood. Great move. I have nothing bad to say about Robinhood in regards to the situation. I think it's a natural next extension for them. I don't know how successful they'll be. Like, it's one thing to announce something. It's another to be super successful at it, right? Because you, as a company, you can launch a million different things, right? You know, like if I recall, you can get your eyeglasses at Costco, can't you? Can't you get your eyeglasses at Walmart, right?
I'm going to give y'all the biggest pro tip you've ever heard in your life about eyeglasses. When I was in college, my college professor, my finance college professor, taught me about Zenni Optical, Zenni optical.com. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. I'll accept all your cookies. I have been using this website for years at this point. Now, I know you're thinking, well, you could go to whatever website, right? These literal glasses and the last 10 years of glasses I've bought have been from Zenni Optical. And some of my glasses, these cost a bit more, but some of them $20 literal dollars and no more pennies on top of that to be manufactured and sent to my house. $20 and no insurance whatsoever. That is a game changer. So if you wear glasses, if you have family members who wear glasses, you got to check out zennioptical.com. Zenni optical. I know I sound like an ad, not an ad, but since you mentioned glasses, I recently on our spring break trip, I scratched the mess out of these. These were about $80 all in. And I was just like, meh, no big deal. I'll go buy a new pair. So they should be in my mailbox like today or tomorrow. And that's the cool thing about this website, right? Especially if you have kids. Yeah, if you have kids, go get you like $20 glasses for them. You're good to go. Dude, and Warby Parker, they may be way better. But I've just been using Zenni for years. So just totally off topic. Thought I'd mention it.
Does everybody just go to Walmart and Costco to get their eyeglasses? I don't think so, right? You know, you can get water at Costco and Walmart. Does everybody go get their water at Costco and Walmart? No, actually a very extremely small percentage of the population does. And so like people get all caught up in the short-term stuff and like, oh, Robinhood announced this, and they just think like, I don't know, everybody in the world's going to go sign up and start using banking products that are with Robinhood. No, I'm not leaving my bank. My wife's not leaving her bank. Like 99.9% of the people watching this video right now, you're not leaving your bank to go over to Robinhood and use their banking services or their robo-advisors or whatever that they announced, okay? None of that stuff. That does not mean it's not a good move for Robinhood. It's absolutely a good move because they're just in a market share game. They're trying to get little bits of market share here and keep adding more and more. At the end of the day, Robinhood's goal, I mean, they have a few goals, but one of their big goals is they want more and more assets in Robinhood, right? The more assets they have, the more products and services they can sell you. It's a natural extension, okay? Now, with that being said, that gets into SoFi, right? Because there's a belief like, oh my gosh, Robinhood, like, you know, and it's really a one-day belief, but it's like, oh my gosh, Robinhood's announcing banking-related products. Oh my gosh, this is the end of the world for SoFi. Well, what if I told you that SoFi allows you to invest through it? What if I told you you could invest in stocks, ETFs, IPOs, all types of things. You even do automated investing through SoFi. What if I told you that? Does that mean the end for Robinhood? Gosh, everybody's going to use SoFi? No. But it's a smart move for SoFi. It's smart that they allow that, right? So some people can use that. If they want to invest through SoFi, they can, right? And it gives SoFi an ability to, at the end of the day, have more customer data, have more assets on the platform, those sorts of things. And so just because SoFi allows you to trade stocks does not mean, oh my gosh, everybody's going to switch their Robinhood accounts from Robinhood over to SoFi. Doesn't work like that. It's just a good strategic move. And so the ridiculousness today with people selling off SoFi stock is very immature and is very uneducated.
Okay, let's jump over to SoFi. By the way, listening to him and his justifications, does it not sound like anxiety or denial? Maybe not panic, but it certainly sounded a lot like that. Huh. 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 That's interesting. Put a J in the chat. A J in the chat for Jeremy. If the way he's talking right there sounded like anxiety and denial, which ironically lines up really well with that. Isn't that crazy? And that's the funny thing about investor psychology. This doesn't change. This doesn't change. Now, I don't know if Jeremy owns SoFi or not, but the way he's talking about it, the justifications he's talking about it, really, to me, sounded exactly like that. That's so interesting, isn't it? Yeah, everybody's throwing J's in the chat. Super. Oh, Andy. I think it's Jeremy's delusional conviction that attracts people because a lot of people like to avoid feeling responsible for their decisions. Ooh. Actually, funny story. I saw one of his comments on this video that made me laugh. It says, my goal was to make $1,000 in SoFi this year. Now only 2,000 to go. My goal was to make 1,000. Now I have $2,000 to go. That's pretty funny.
Educated on how the stock market, how stocks work, how companies work, and really how business fundamentals work. Because just because you announce something does not mean like Amazon tomorrow could come out and announce they're going to have a full suite of banking products. It does not mean everybody's going to go switch to Amazon to use their banking products. It's not the way this works, okay? So just ridiculous, right? And when it comes to SoFi, this company's had an incredible growth trajectory. They should continue to have an incredible growth trajectory over the next several years, right? Anthony Noto just has to always get the company through recessions, out to the other side, and boom in the good times, right? But at the end of the day, if SoFi doesn't hit their numbers over the next few years, it will have nothing to do with Robinhood. That will be like Anthony Noto and SoFi didn't execute well. If this doesn't happen, it'll have nothing to do with Robinhood. So the fact that people were freaking out over Robinhood today is ridiculous. But nowadays, nothing surprises me in the stock market. So I'm not surprised that the stock was down 6% today because everybody was freaking out over, Robinhood.
Oh, I see right here. Okay. But also, right, it's been in a downtrend for a while. And the very last red light was all the way up here at $15. Now it's down to 12. What's that in percentage terms? Jeez. This is why you follow this channel. This is why you're going to tell everyone you know that if you want to be successful in the market, you don't listen to jokers like that. I am Batman. He's the Joker. All right. Who would you rather listen to when it comes to your money? Bruce Wayne or the Joker? I'm telling you, avoiding 20% down moves. That's how you stay in the market. That's how you stay in the market. You could just throw the red light on there. Throw the red light on there. So we're going to wrap it up there. But let me introduce myself. I'm just some random guy named Christopher Yule. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And let's go over and let's do a poll. What do you think? Over on my YouTube channel, I've got a poll today, and I want to get your opinion. We've been trying to make these polls a little bit more difficult, where it's 2 solidly good answers. First, so like I say, go over to my YouTube channel and vote. The question is, dangers of watching every tick are twofold: overtrading and an increased chances of prematurely liquidating good positions. What do you think? Now, I agree with this completely. Before we get to the two options here, right? I know that there have been times where I've sat at my desk and just stared at the screen, like obviously trading daily candles, but I'm watching every 1 minute candle to see what happens. That's not a lifestyle I want to live, right? Know where your levels are, and once you get to those points, get in. Once you get to those points, get out. And the rest of it, in my opinion, is a distraction. So every tick is noise, not a signal, or every tick holds valuable clues. I want you to go vote. I want you to vote and tell me what you think. And if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, head on over to outlier.com. You can get Outlier for just 82 cents a day with the annual pass. And if you're on the monthly plan, we now have a one-click upgrade button, so you can save 64%. Now it's time to look at some of your stocks. So put your stocks in the chat while you vote, and let's go take a look at them. Be sure that you're putting in the stock name and long and the stock name and short. So for example, AMD long, AMD short, SoFi long, SoFi short. That's what I want to look at. By the way, Tom Nash emailed me and he said, Chris, you really still need to go back to ranking the videos. You really need to go back to ranking the videos. And so I was like, all right, well, let's chat on that first. I just don't like the mean girl energy around it. Yannick, MMC long. MMC. So first, Yannick, we've got a weak market, so that's working against it. However, we did just get this buy signal right here. Did you get this on our watch list today? All these buy and sell signals that came today, 53 new names on the buy list, 57 new names on the sell list. Yannick, did you get that from there? So MMC with the buy signal right here. You can see getting greedy. I like greedy, and it has been raising its greed value over here. It's currently at a value of 67. You can see that over on this side as well, 67. The financial sector is definitely looking sharp as well. Losing fear almost into the greed for the whole sector as a whole. You've got the 10, 20, 50 crossed over here. So Yannick, this is off to a great start. Let's see if there's any outlier blocks soon to come to Outlier in its way, and I don't see any. This looks brilliant. Now it looks like we got earnings in about 2 weeks, which could be fantastic. Also, if you are familiar with the phrase cup and handle, this looks like a cup and handle to me. Cup and handle meaning a pullback and then a push forward, followed by a smaller pullback and another push forward. And right there would be another breakout right there. This actually looks really sharp, Yannick. I like it a lot. But always know where your risk is at. So good one, Yannick. Ryan wants to look at Schwab, SHSCHW for a long. Schwab, we've got a buy signal. It's in an uptrend. Your 10, 20, 50s are all cross north. You've got it getting more greedy. That's cool. The sector getting less fearful, more greedy. And you know what? This may be one that's impacted by this SoFi change, SCHW. I doubt it, but it might be. Oh man, poor timing on this. You've got an order block that just developed, probably today, because it does take a few days for them to materialize. You've got an order block that just developed right here. So this, Ryan, this looks tough from this point, because if it were me, I would look to close. I would take the risk off the table here because I don't know how much time it's going to take to get through this order block. But you could keep a little bit of risk and say maybe if it closes under the 10 EMA, you remember that's a red light, right? A red light looks like this. A close under a 10 EMA alerts you that the trends are changing. Right? If it closes under the 10 EMA, watch out for that. But also, you've got a weak market. So even though the sector's looking strong, the stock's looking strong, the market itself is not doing you any favors. So keep your risk in check on that. But a great one. Great pick, Ryan. Andrew wants to look at Melly. Those couple tabs here. Melly, MELI. All right, so Melly long. First, it's sitting on a sell signal right here. So that, I don't like that. The sector, discretionary sector, is getting less fearful. I do like that. The stock itself, it's kind of in limbo right here. Not too deep in fear, just right around greed. Not a whole lot at the moment going on. Let's see if there's anything on the charts that's pulling through. I mean, you got triple stacked order blocks. This one's going to be a tough one. This one's going to be a tough one, Andrew. Jesus wants to look at SMCI. When are the outlier blocks coming? I know, dude. I am like dying. I need the outlier blocks right away. We have a whole new charting package coming through. You can probably notice that the charts are different on this page, on the dashboard page, versus the market breadth page. They're going to look more like the market breadth, and they're going to be snappy. Look how snappy these charts are. I'm so excited about this. I just don't know, like they're literally being worked on every single day. But if we look at SMCI, looks like we might have a downtrend crossed over right there. You saw how greedy it got a while ago. You got a buy signal, could have made a ton of money right before the sell signal came through, right? You had to close under the red, you had a red light, close under the 10 EMA. And then it got more fearful, getting more fearful by the day. The tech sector was getting less fearful. Looks like it has maybe stopped at this point. Let's look at SMCI. I know that's a really popular one. Yeah, you've got a bearish cross down right here. SMCI is not one I would personally own. It's a tough one at this point. Oh, but he's looking short. He's looking short. I misread that. Yeah, from a short perspective, this is okay. See, this is why I ask if you're long or short, because that changes drastically what I'm looking at. From a short perspective, it is under its moving averages. It is under its moving averages. Does have a sell signal. Excuse me. It's getting more fearful. The sector seems to be getting more fearful. And then from a short perspective, I love it. See what a difference that makes, right? That's why I asked for those longs and shorts. It really helps. KGN asks, do you trade on the daily chart or the weekly? I trade on the daily chart. Oh, from yesterday. Okay. Yeah, dude, listen, stocks go up, stocks go down. But the most important thing is position sizing and knowing where you're going to get out. If it closes above the 50 period, I would get out. I would get out today. Sometimes that happens, dude. Sometimes that happens. Of course, having a position size where you can sleep at night makes a big difference. All right, let's go refresh this page and see how y'all voted on this poll here. Okay, dangers of watching every tick are twofold: overtrading and increased chances of prematurely liquidating good positions. What do you think? Every tick is noise, not a signal, or every tick holds valuable clues? So for me, I mean, both of these answers are right. Every tick holds valuable clues, right? You could look at, let's look at AZN on a 5-minute chart. On a 5-minute chart, it was actually going up by the end of the day. It's going up right now. On a 1-minute chart, it's going up right now. But at the end of the day, it was starting to push down. But on a daily chart, it's in a downtrend. As of yesterday, it was in downtrend. If it closed over the 50, I wouldn't say that. So every tick holds valuable clues. Every tick is noise, not signal. I'm really curious to see how y'all voted. Every tick is noise, not signal. Every tick holds valuable clues. I mean, they're both right. I would say this. Every tick is noise, not signal. 76-24. Cool. All right. That doesn't mean one's right or wrong. I just like hearing your feedback on these. I want to see how you voted. So be sure to tell me what you're trading in the chat and come back for this afternoon's live stream where outliers like us will save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Now, YouTube is going to pop up a couple recommended videos. I recommend you watch one of them, and I also recommend you have a fantastic day.